Well, week 3 is in the books, and as we get ready for the Thanksgiving holiday, let's go ahead and recap what was week 3 in the district, as well as I finally get to sit down with Mr. 300 himself, Coach John Sparks of Shawnee College. There's a lot to unpack in this week's game, including a couple of ranked opponents going up against each other. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this week's sled game, starting with John A. Logan. Well, once again, John A. Logan loses to Mineral Area last Thursday, 67-63. It was a better showing than what they had earlier in the season. Alfred Worrell led the way for the Vols with 16 points, shooting 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 8 from behind the arc, but he was 7 of 7 from the foul line. R.J. Walker was next with 11 points. He shot 4 of 9 from the field and 1 of 6 from behind the arc. Jalen Fairman and Julian Norris each had rounded out the scoring with 10 apiece. Logan led at the half 28-25, but they had 6 technical fouls as a team while shooting 40% from the field and 18% from behind the arc. You can't win ball games shooting like that, obviously, as the Vols have proven that time and time again. They're 1-4. The Vols are going to be off this week, so let's see what Coach Smith-Peters can do. And let's go ahead and go to the Lakeland Lakers. This has been kind of the theme for this year so far. We start with a bad, and then we go to a good. The Lakers were 2-0 this week and 4-0 overall as they beat Southeast Missouri Prep on Wednesday night and the Loggers of Lincoln Land on Saturday. Denham Leslie was the most efficient player for the Lakers on their 113-77 win against SEMO Prep. He was 5 of 6 from the field, good for 13 points. The leading scorer was Ahmad Roberts with 15, but he only shot 3 of 8 from the field. That's why I said Leslie was the most efficient player on the field. He shot 5 of 6 to 3 of 8. The Lakers had 5 players in double figures as they cruised to the win. Saturday, Leslie again was the leading way in that 75-66 win. Again, 15 points, and he was efficient with it. He went 6 of 9, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. Tyler Chapman was the other starter in double figures. He had 14. Bryson Bond was efficient off the bench, going 5 of 6, adding 11. And again, I mentioned efficiency. That's what these Lakers are going to have to do once it comes to district play, is they have to be efficient and they have to be able to grind out games sometimes, and they were able to do it this weekend. Let's keep the good going with Kaskaskia as they got a pair of wins this weekend. Caleb Jenkins and Will Vassar led the way with 26 and 22 points respectively. Jenkins was 11 of 18 from the floor, while Vassar was 8 of 12 in their 79-71 win over Southeastern Illinois. They can continue to play these teams back-to-back like they did Southeastern, like they did against Missouri Baptist. But here's the problem. The second time they play these teams, the games are considerably closer. The first time they played SIC, it was a blowout in their favor. Same way with Missouri Baptist. This time, a very closer game. They still get the win, but it was immensely closer than what they would have liked, and I know Coach Hancock would have liked. They won again on Friday night. This one was more handily, 94-47. Isaiah Tobort scored 19 points, shooting 8 of 12. Again, very efficient. Caleb Jenkins scored 17 points, 8 of 15, while Vassar scored 11, going 4 of 6 from the floor. Jamal Chambers netted 10, going 4 of 9 off the bench. So again, being semi-efficient there off the bench, and he was 1 of 2 from behind the arc. Kaskaskia as a team this season is averaging 93 points per game while shooting 53% from the floor and averaging 46.8 rebounds a game. It's going to be very important that they continue this scoring uptick as they get ready for their games this weekend and going into the future as they get ready for district play. Okay. I'm going to say this for the next couple of teams. You have to remember to get off the bus. Lincoln Trail forgot how to show up in their game Tuesday against Mineral Area, and they lost that game 75-42. They shot 27% from the floor, shot 21% from behind the arc, and 68.8% from the free throw line. You can't win ball games. Obviously, you can't win ball games. They lost that game huge to Mineral Area, and they had as many rebounds at 42 as they had points, and they had 27 turnovers. That's just a simple case of a team not getting off the bus, ready to play a ball game. And I'm sure they heard that all the time from their coach coming in to their next game as they beat Missouri Baptist 99-68. Rasheed Daniels was efficient, 5 of 8 from the floor, and had 18 points. The Statesmen protect their home floor. They've been able to do that this year. They haven't been able to translate what they can do at home in Robinson to the road. They are 3-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. So it's a traditional Lincoln Trail team of who are you going to get? They're a mixed bag, and they're always going to be a mixed bag if they can't translate those games and get off the bus and be ready for a game. Like I said, they win the game against Missouri Baptist 99-68. Gold Star, however, I will say this. One player decided to show up for both games, and that was Caden Haydenlocker. He had 11 points. He was the only player in double digits in their loss against Mineral Area, and he had 19 in their win. He went 7 of 12. Very efficient. Again, efficiency is going to be the theme of this episode. Going 7 of 12 from the floor. And again, I said the Statesmen are a mixed bag. They're 3-0 at home. They're 0-2 on the road, so who really knows what's going to go on with them? From what I said with Lincoln Trail, copy, paste against SWIC for SWIC. Another team didn't show up in their loss to Moberly. Kenton Wright and Saxon Hokeeper were the only Blue Storms in double figures. Combined, those two players went 9 of 22 from the floor. They had 16 of the team's 25 turnovers, while having 7 assists and 7 rebounds. As a team, the Blue Storm hit and shot 35% from the field, 21% from threes. Copy from what I said for Lincoln Trail, paste for the SWIC Blue Storm. Can't win ball games. The team's 2-2, and Coach Harrington he's going to get it figured out because he always gets it figured out by the time district play rolls around. But it's one of those things where you just scratch your head if you're a SWIC fan, and as a fan of the district, when I was talking SWIC up a couple episodes ago, how good they were playing, how they seemed to have things clicking. Well, joke's on me. And this one's going to be short, mainly because my guest today, Coach John Sparks, will go into his game a little bit deeper, I believe. I'll have to remember what he says in the interview. I interviewed him, all fairness, I interviewed him Thursday, the day after this game was played. The Saints win the ball game against Tennessee Prep 83-46. They were very impressive doing so. They shot 50% from behind the arc, and 50% from the floor, 11 of 24 from behind the arc, and Johnny Anderson led the way with 17 points. Again, I'm going to let Coach Sparks take it over after I'm done with all the recaps. Wabash Valley had a 12-day layoff from their second loss of the season to the game against Oakland City JV, and they win that ball game 98-81, getting the first win of the season, getting the coach their first win as a Warriors head coach, and they were hot from behind the arc. They were 12 of 27 from behind the arc, led by Kaleem Taylor, who popped 3 triples and scored 18 points, while Lucas Henderson came off the bench. He hit 4 trays, and he also scored 18 points. So big congratulations to Wabash Valley to getting in the win column for the first time this year. Let's see if that starts to build a little bit of momentum. They've, Lincoln Trail and Wabash Valley have always been momentum teams. Let's see if this turns it around in the positive way for the Warriors. I'm going to preface this by saying that the stats that I have for this game are not available. I looked on NJCAA. I looked on Olney Central's homepage. Nothing. I looked on Triton's homepage. Nothing. The only thing I have is the score on this. But it was a big, big, big game, as the Blue Knights were ranked for the first time in forever that I can remember. They came into this weekend number 24 in the rankings. They're going to fall out this week. They lose to Trident 81-72, but again, they looked okay from what I can see. And again, it's just looking at the score, 81-72. That is misleading, as you'll see. And as I recap the Vincennes game of the week. But again, Trident's team page didn't have anything. OCC's team page didn't have anything. NJCAA didn't have anything. All they had was the 81-72 score, and unfortunately, I can't do anything if there's no stats posted. Yeah, so I will get back to you when stats are posted next week. I know it seems like that I save Vincennes for last, and I promise I don't do this on purpose, but they had 3 big games this week. And let's go ahead and start with Tuesday. It was a game. That's it. Kankakee came in. They played hard against the Blazers. The Blazers had all 5 starters in double figures. Michael Osei-Bonsu led the way with 17 points. They shot the ball well as a team. They went 31 of 62. They out-rebounded Kankakee 51-28. But if you listen to Coach Franklin's post-game with Dave Hunter, you wouldn't get any of that. He was very, very, very disappointed in his ball club. He wanted more out of his team. And it was because he knew what was waiting for them Saturday. It was a top 10 matchup against number 7 Indian Hills. They beat Kankakee, by the way, 86-62. Thursday, they played a little bit better. LeBron Thomas scored a season-high 29 points, which included 7 of 14 from the field. Again, very efficient. It was 4-19 from the free throw line. Efficient. The King Twins, they were efficient. 17 points apiece. Chris and Kent both with 17. Victor Lato came off the bench, and he was 4 of 7 from the floor. Ryan Oliver equaled a career high, scoring 24 points. And again, oh no, that's for Saturday's game. I'm sorry. But yeah, so spoiler, Ryan Oliver scored 24 points against Indian Hills on homecoming night. 15 of that came from in the final half. He was 4 of 15 from the free throw line. Again, when VU needed a free throw, they went to Oliver. Or Oliver was at the line. He hit down the shots when he needed to hit down the shots. Coach Franklin talked about Ryan Oliver's performance. He said he did very well, but he had a lot of help. And that is very, very true. You look at the scoring sheet, Chris King had 17 points, go along with 8 assists. Michael Osei-Bonsu and Kyrie Dixon combined for 23 points and 23 rebounds. Bonsu had 13 points, 12 rebounds, and Dixon had 10 points, 11 rebounds. The biggest thing out of this game was holy. There was a lot of fouls. That's all I'm going to say. Vincennes owned the glass margin by 20, or by a rebound margin of 48-28. They did it all without their point guard in LeBron. I guess he went down with an illness or something. Biggest thing here, there was 58 personal fouls called in this ballgame, including 3 technical fouls. There was 84 free throws combined in this night. Vincennes pulls out the win, 86-76 against Indian Hills, and that just makes December 8th's rematch that more looking forward to it. But they can't look down now. They got 3 big games coming up this week. Let's go ahead. And with that recap out of the way, I am going to go ahead, toss it to my previous self and Coach John Sparks.
Well, thank you for joining me again here for the Central District Podcast. I am sitting with Coach John Sparks of Shawnee Community College. Coach Sparks, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, Justin.
So, Coach Sparks, let's go ahead and talk about your accomplishments here. You joined Shawnee Community in 2003, and you got them to the NJCAA Division I level in 2012. If I'm reading Dave Hunter's notes correct, just talk about what that road was for you when you joined.
Man, that was 21 years ago, Justin, and I was a young dude then, and it was just we were Division II. We played in that really tough mid I can't think of the name of that Mid American Conference, whatever it was called at that time. MWAC, that's what it was. And man, it was just my athletic director at the time came to me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about moving to Division I next year. What are your thoughts?" And I was like, "Absolutely, that would be great." I mean, I wanted to move to Division I for the level of competition, but administratively, they want to move to Division I because of the travel. Our shortest trip at that time was like outside of Rend Lake was like 3 hours, and when we moved to Division I, our longest trip's about 3 hours. So it was a financial move more than anything else. I mean, we were driving from Olney to Johnwood, and you're coming back the same day. So I mean, you're getting home sometimes 2, 3 in the morning. It seems like. And you got to go to Peoria and come back the same day. So a lot of those times we would ride on we would share the bus, riding with the women. So, man, you leave at 6 a.m., and that's a long day, man. So going to Division I was an adjustment. Level of competition obviously went up. But it was great, man. It was a great decision. And when we made that move to Division I, it really allowed us to really kind of go out and get higher level players, and those guys got better exposure being at the Division I level, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, you're one of the most senior coaches in the district. You have Coach Harrington over there at SWIC. Do you count Coach Franklin because he's been in the district a long time, but he's switched schools from Southeastern to VU? And then there's you. So, I mean, you've been there a long time. Just kind of talk about the major changes that you've seen from the district when Vincennes and you guys entered in 2012 to till today.
I've known Coach Franklin a long time from when he was over at Southeastern Illinois, and I was a volunteer assistant coach at Murfreesboro High School. So we have some history when, I'd go over there and watch his teams play a little bit, and had an idea. They were really good. And when you're a young coach, man, I tell all young coaches, I said, if you want to be good at this thing, you need to go see, watch, and pick the brains of guys that are highly successful. And, that's one of the reasons I kind of went over to watch Southeastern and what they did and how they did it and that type of deal. But being I guess a veteran now or elder statesman in this league is kind of weird, man, because you don't really, time flies, Justin. And I had one of the officials call me at the first jamboree this year and said, "Hey, there's Coach Sparks. He's the Denzel Washington of the GRAC." I'm like, man, that's I need you to call my wife, man, and say that to her, But man, it's been good, man, and just taking on some leadership responsibility and seeing how the league has changed, and having the ability to kind of points, help the league go in a direction that's beneficial to our student athletes. It's been good, man.
And one of those things is that in the last couple of years, you've joined up with Coach Franklin and VU when they do their Kiwanis Classic. When I was there, we were looking for a fourth team, and you kind of picked that up in the last 3 years or so since they started redoing it after the COVID season. Last year, it was kind of weird for you because you weren't full strength going into those two games, and yet you still played your traditional, I like to call it scrappy basketball, where you guys don't give up no matter how far you're down. So
we had a very challenging season last year. We didn't have. They started construction on our gym renovation rather on our gymnasium, and that started September 1st. So we didn't have practice or a game at home in our own facility until January the 4th. So it was tough when, we thought we could manage it. It wouldn't be that bad, but we traveled all across Southern Illinois every night. A lot of times different places to practice, rec centers, and we traveled to Cape one night and elementary school gyms and different. I mean, it was tough, man. And then we had injuries on top of that, so it was a major challenge. And with our program, we play, as you say, scrappy, but we're gonna play really hard. But it's tough with the way we play. That our program is one of our core components of our program is skill development. Well, if you don't have a gym to get in to work on skill development, improve shooting, ball handling skills, that type of deal, that really hit us hard, man. And you add those injuries into the mix. We just weren't able to. We felt like we were always like 2-3 steps behind where we should be, because our guys just didn't have the reps that they needed, along with the injuries. So it was very challenging.
So you're 5-0 heading into this week's slate of games. Just talk about what you've been able to do, especially now that you have that new floor, and then we'll touch on your big milestone here next.
Man, we're sitting at 5-0. Our guys are playing really hard. We have a really, really good group. We got some little injuries, but nothing major. Everything that you kind of go through. Everybody has some little knack. Nobody's 100%. We have a interesting schedule. Last night was our last game until after Thanksgiving, so we have 2 weeks off, and I wasn't really excited about that. We couldn't find a game to get in there in between. But with some of the injuries, we had a kid go down last night who's going to be out right at 2 weeks, they say. And we had 2 other kids that couldn't dress last night because they were banged up. So we kind of need this 2 weeks of rest to recover and get some treatment. So we're excited about where we're at. We have some good games coming up. We don't want to look too far ahead. We just want to worry about the next one and kind of build and go from there.
And so we'll touch on when you guys picked up your 4th win of the season. That was good to start 4-0 on the year, but it was a bigger milestone for you personally as a coach. You picked up win number 300. What does that necessarily mean for the Joe Schmo that sees in the paper that, Coach Sparks picked up 300? Good for him, but what does that really mean for you as a coach?
Man, I tell people that are not in this profession, they don't, a lot of people don't understand. Winning is hard. I don't care who you play. Winning is hard. Nobody shows up, no matter who you play. The guy on the other side, they're trying to beat you. I mean, there's a lot of, we're dealing with 18, 19-year-olds, some 20-year-olds. Winning is hard. It's a commitment. It's an everyday commitment. It's not, you show up at 2 o'clock for practice every day. I mean, it's a 24/7 deal, man. You have to get these guys to buy into the system. You got to get guys to share the basketball. You got to get guys to play roles. And I was just talking to a guy last week about getting guys to play into the roles. Man, this society, everybody wants to shoot the basketball when they want to shoot it, do what they want to do when they want to do it, pick and choose when they play defense. I mean, it's a microwave society. They want instant gratification. If they're not playing well, if they're not playing much, they don't get to do what they want. They transfer. So it's tough, man. I mean, it is really challenging to get guys to be stars in their roles. I always use example of the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green's a good player, max contract. Looney is a really good NBA player. He's a starter in NBA. I said, but in the last 7 to 10 possessions of a game, make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are shooting all of the shots. They're going to shoot it every time. All right? Draymond's not saying, you know what, I haven't shot. I'm going to shoot. And Looney, I'm going to take a shot. No, you're not. The other guy's going to shoot the ball, and they're going to rebound and chase it. That's their role. They're stars in their role. So when you tell a guy, hey, man, your role is a rebounder, they oftentimes think you're trying to diminish their talent. But that's not. You're trying to get those guys to do what they do best and focus on doing that at a high level. That's hard to get guys to lock into. So when you're talking about winning 300 games, hey man, it was great. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I appreciate all the guys that we've had that had contributed to those wins. And I'm excited about it. It was great, but at the end of the day, man, when it's all said and done, a lot of guys not gonna remember 300 wins. When they talk about Coach Sparks, they're gonna remember the relationships we had, and things we did, and things we said, and battles we had. But I mean, it was great. Appreciate all the phone calls and love I've got on social media and text messages. But the main thing, the reason us coaches do this deal is not for the wins, but see these guys grow up, develop, move forward, get careers, and maybe some are playing. Obviously a lot play at the next level. We've had a lot play at the next level. We have 6 or 7 kids currently playing overseas. But we have more of those guys, same guys that are husbands, fathers, family men, and that's more important than the other things. That they're good people, good citizens, and that's the mark that I'm most excited about. Not the 300 wins, but these kids, these young men that have grown up to be men, husbands and fathers, and just great people.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I expect from all you guys when you talk about your accomplishments. It's something that while I was on the sidelines with Coach Franklin that he really harped on. He wanted, yes, the success in the time, but also for them to be good students, good people off the floor. And like I said, you are one of those people that I respect gratefully on the other side, just being able to see you on the other side when we travel to Ulen or when you come down to VU, and you guys always played us tough. You always played us scrappy. We can never take our breath and just regroup because you always were down our throats, ready to go every single play. And looking at your schedule, you're going to have to do that a little bit. You have SEMO Prep on December 3rd. Then you go to Logan Invitational and you have ranked Triton team. Then you open up the district against a Wabash Valley team, and then travel to Vincennes to end out the year. Boy, you didn't make yourself easy on the non-district schedule, and then opening up against at Wabash Valley. That's tough.
Man, we're excited, man. No, hey, if it was easy, everybody signed up for it, Justin. I mean, you got to go through the fire, see where you're at, and we had a good. I mean, even our scrimmages, man, we were fortunate because we don't have any control who we play these jamborees. But man, we played. I know at Carbondale we played Three Rivers, Moberly, Middle Area. Two of those three teams are ranked, and Three Rivers probably knocking at the door. And obviously we beat Moberly, and we should have beat Middle Area, and Three Rivers like 6-point game or whatever. So, and we didn't have all our guys at the time. I mean, we'll have all our we expect to have all our guys by the time we get to district play, and we're excited about our chances. We're not. We have enough pieces where we think we can be very competitive, man. Whether we're playing at Wabash Valley or wherever or whoever, I think this team is built where we can compete on a national stage with the style we play. And as you know, the thing about us, we're going to play hard. We're going to compete. We're going to defend, and that travels. You know what I mean? Those things travel no matter where you play. If you'll defend, play really hard, compete, and be tough, that travels. You'll have nights you make shots and miss shots, but if you're consistent defensively, you're always in the game.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your vacation to sit down with me. Again, I'm hoping to get all these coaches to kind of buy in a little bit, and for you to be the second one to sit down with me, trust me, that means a whole lot to me. So I appreciate it.
Justin, don't. Hey, I'm taking a vacation day, but I'm not. Hey, you act like I'm in the Bahamas.
No, I know you're out there.
Hey, man,
You're about ready to hit the gym. You're about ready to hit the gym. So.
No, man, I'm actually in front of this laptop working on this next scout, man, trying to get ready for the 30th, man. So no, there's no real vacation. I'm not in the office doing all those 15 other things I normally have to do a day. So I appreciate what you're doing, Justin. Doing a great job. I want to encourage you to keep going, man.
I appreciate that, Coach. I'll be right back with the previews of the next week's games.
Again, big thanks to Coach Sparks as he was able to sit down with me and talk to me for as long as he did. After a big-time win, he was, like he said, he was not on the beach. He is preparing for games, but he was out of the office. So I was lucky enough to have him be able to sit down with me, and I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's slate of games. Shawnee and Logan are going to be off this week. Like Coach Sparks said, they're done until December. Kaskaskia has one game this week. They open everything up tonight, November 20th, against Oakland City JV. Lakeland has 3 big games. They have Lewis and Clark, a former district opponent, coming in on November 21st. Then they go to Southeastern to play the host Black Eagles on November 24th, and then they play Spoon River on November 25th. Lincoln Trails in that same little classic there over the holiday break. They play Danville area on the 21st, and then Spoon River on the 24th, Southeastern on the 25th. So again, kind of like how VU does with their classics, 4-team round robin. The 2 district teams don't play each other. Olney has 2 games this week. Olive Harvey on the 25th and Marshalltown on the 26th. I'll be honest, I know nothing about those 2 schools. Should be a couple good wins for OCC if they're able to bounce back against this after this loss to Triton, but who knows? They are going to be very tested. They're young. Coach Glash is going to try to have them ready to go, but I know from personal experience, once you hit that Thanksgiving break, you want to be done. You want to spend time with your family, so it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to do that on the 25th and 26th. SWIC has a couple of big games. They're looking to go above 500. I don't see it, unfortunately. I think they'll pick up the win against St. Louis Community College on November 21st. I think they will fall to Mineral Area on November 25th. That game's at Mineral Area, so again, it's hard to get up for those holiday classic games. Yeah. And Wabash Valley is going to be in that classic as well. Again, 14 classic. SWIC is not playing on the 24th for whatever reason. At least according to their NJCAA, they are not playing anyone on the 24th. But Wabash Valley's playing Mineral Area on the 24th and Daly College out of Chicago, Illinois on the 25th. VU travels to Moberly to play in their classic. First time the Blazers are going to be on the road this year. 7 straight home games to open it out. They play State Fair, another big time opponent for the Trailblazers, as the Roadrunners are nothing to scoff at. And then they play the Greyhounds, host Greyhounds on November 25th. Big games this weekend. Like I said, circle. Follow with me. Circle Lakeland, Southeastern Illinois. Southeastern Iowa, November 24th. Lincoln Trail, Southeastern on the 25th. Let's go ahead and circle the Mineral Area games, even though I think both SWIC and Wabash will lose those. So that is November 25th for SWIC, November 24th for Wabash, and November 25th, even though, again, I say State Fair is nothing to be messed with. Moberly's the big game of the weekend for the Blazers on the 25th. So, with all that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Again, big thanks to John Sparks for sitting down with me, spending some time, being able to chat. First time I've been able to chat with a coach since an opposing coach, really, ever. And the first time I've been able to sit down with a coach since Coach Davis in week 1. So, again, big thanks. I have all the respect in the world for Coach Sparks. And best of luck to him and his Saints the rest of the year, except when they play my Blazers. But that's going to do it for this episode. I will see you in the next one.